50 years ago tonight, Dave Moore worked with Glad Hill Tractor, and he drove a John Deere in here and competed at the Frederick Fair tractor pool. So that is definitely something worth mentioning. And now we'll get off and underway with our first of 5 classes here tonight, and that'll be the 466 hot farm tractors. Tyree Cable is going to be the first competitor of many here tonight, and he'll be driving a 1066 called After Hours too. All brought to you by the Pro Pulling League, now in its 19th season. Continues to be the world's largest truck and tractor pulling sanctioning body, featuring 250 sessions of competitions across 20 states and through the Champions Tour, Hearts Diesel Silver Series, Champion Seed Western Series, AP1 Insurance Midwest Region, and the member states. For the latest news on the Pro Pulling League, stay tuned here on www.propulling.com or follow us on social media, Facebook page or Twitter at Pro Pullin', or on Instagram at Pro Pullin' League, and our YouTube channel at Pro Pullin' League, all offering exciting truck and tractor pulling action from past events. Here comes the crew. How was that? We'll have a salesman contact you tomorrow. I'll give him your phone number.
That's good.
Tyree Cable of Kearneysville, West Virginia, is number 2 in current points, and he was the winner last weekend in Georgetown, Delaware. 2 weekends ago, I guess. 1,500 horsepower range here with these tractors and a 466 motor. And you can hear the RPMs coming out of this one. After Hours 2 from Kearneysville, West Virginia. How about a nice hand for Tyree Cable, the paid firefighter and the part-time farmer of the group, and getting the class started in a good way. All right, 298.16. The sled is set, and he's pleased with that distance, so we are off and underway. 298.16. Ben Dixon up next with the Problem Child from Earlville, Maryland. It's also a 1066 International. And there's the 1066 from Earlville, Maryland. Second of 6 in this class. We have 3 red, 2 green, and 1 blue one in the class. Out there, how about a nice hand for Ben Dixon? That's 277.2 for the Problem Child. Not a bad pass, but 21 feet behind Tyree's tractor. That will remain our leader. And now we'll go green. Luke Gladhill up next on his hometown track, being from Union Bridge, Maryland. He's our current points leader with the 4455 called Weapon X. But the chain's tight now for the homeboy, and crossing his fingers to do well on the hometown track. How about a nice hand for him, ladies and gentlemen? All right, fan club, he's our new leader at 299.84. And that puts him out front by 1.7 feet. Bill Shaw calls his tractor Against the Grain. Not bad. How about a nice hand for Bill Shaw? 75.94 feet. Puts it in the number 4 spot, 275.94. Alan Lynch is up next with his John Deere called Chasing Smoke. Looking good on the left side. How about a nice hand for Alan Lynch? 282.14, and that will take over the number 3 spot. 282.14 for Chasing Smoke. Last in the class will be Nelson Harding of Pine Grove, PA, driving a Ford 9000 called the Road Gear Row Crop. Boy, you can really hear that turbo winding up. It'll be about 80,000 RPM when it gets up to full engine RPM. How about a nice hand for him, Ford fans? An excellent run for a tractor that fluttered and almost fell on its face at the starting line, but it came back to life and is doing very well for Nelson. Hey, Ford fans, he's our winner at 306.16 feet. 306.16. Let's see, went out front by 6.3 feet to get the win. 306.16. Congrats to Nelson Harding. Long ways from home, but he made the ride worthwhile. So get your earplugs ready, because it's going to be very noisy shortly with modified tractors. The Huntsman, Never Satisfied, Phony Business, and Radial Reactor are going to rattle Frederick Fairgrounds here shortly. And the Huntsman is Ian Ericker of Point of Rocks, Maryland. 2 Marylanders and 2 PA drivers in this class. I'd say it went very well. We'll see what he thinks of that. 296.09 feet for the Huntsman. 296.09. All right, and we have 2 thumbs up. Scott Jones just informs me that the sled is set, and Ian's pleased with the 296.09 feet. And what do we got, a 756? Going to drag him back to the pit area. We appreciate all these guys helping him out. Kevin Nouse has 2, 4, 6, 7 weights in the box of that sled. He's got it up to about 52 or 54,000 pounds to shut these guys down. Look at those big 30.5-inch wide double cut tires coming out of those holes. Those tires are $10,000 a pair. And those big block Chevys set the mark for 3 more tractors in this class, but Hemi's on the way. Never Satisfied is up next. He's last year's points champion and our current points leader. Jason McKenzie of Thomasville, PA, finished 3rd in Georgetown, Delaware. Fans, keep your eyes on those butterflies setting up on top of that fuel injection unit. And it won't be more than about 40 or 50 feet. They'll be horizontal, and these engines will be wide open. How you like that, folks? Doesn't get much better, does it? He's driving right out there to that scraper tire. Wow, 339.03. How about a nice hand for Jason McKenzie? So I have to share something with you, fans. You probably heard me say a little stumble there when I said these things are sitting beside by side, and then I was staring at the tractor and something didn't look familiar. And I corrected myself and I said, on this tractor. I knew something was different. And since I paid attention, he took that one engine off the right front corner, turned it around backward to take the twist out of that frame. One engine's facing forward, now one engine's backward, and away went the twist. That's a new setup there that I was not aware of until I looked down there a while ago and I thought, boy, something doesn't seem right. I only see one injector and the other one's looking at him. But I would say that it's working perfectly well. They're combating each other with radial twist and torque, and he took it way out to 339.03 feet. Last one for the Chevrolet fans. The Hemis are in the lead at 339, and Ian Eriker's Huntsman is at 296. So I was saying a couple minutes ago, I've seen two engines side by side and a third one behind them, sitting backward. It looks like this back engine, which is in front of the driver, of course, it looks like it's facing forward, but it is not. Only the injection hat is facing forward. That middle engine, or the rear one, is on there backward, feeding the gearbox. How about a nice hand for Tim Robinson, folks? I believe that left front motor's got an issue right now, but he made a nice pass. 320.68. 320.68, taking over the number 2 spot, and boy, he's doing a good job of it. But I heard that one engine making some noise at the end. Hey fans, you're the best. Could you kindly cheer that guy up a little bit? He just blew the block out of that motor. They always run the best before they blow up. And I knew something didn't sound good there at the end, and it's bad. And that's unfortunate. 18 cylinders running in a circle like spokes in a wheel. You're going to see 18 exhaust pipes and a very, very complicated fuel injection system. And that fuel injection system right now is as rich as it can be. You'll see all this raw fuel coming out. But wait till it winds up. And it'll be wound up about 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, not near as high as the automotive engines. So the reason this engine's called a Curtiss Wright, from what little history I know, is of course the Wright brothers, they get the credit for flying, but Curtiss gets the credit for the airplane engine history. And World War II kind of forced them to join together and create engines and aircraft for the mighty World War II. And that's how we came up with Curtiss Wright. Two famous airplane companies joined together for the war effort. And this engine was commonly installed in multiple different aircraft built right up the road at Fairchild in Hagerstown. It was a very popular engine back in the day. The cool part is it's no newer, the original parts are no newer than a 1958. So let's see how it goes for Len Brookhart of Bel Air, Maryland, and the radial reactor. Alan Lynch is the crew chief, and he just walked away from it. We saw him out here earlier on the Chase and Smoke John Deere. But he's the radio reactor crew chief. When he walks away from this thing, we're about ready to see and hear it make its way down the track. All right, Scott Jones says the runway is cleared for takeoff. Very nice. And how about a nice hand for Len Brookhart? He's way out there. Fans, he is our winner by 1.3 feet. 340.31 for the radial reactor. 340.31. Never satisfied. We'll take second at 339.03. And third place, going to Ian Eriker's Huntsman at 296.09. And third place, going to Tim Robinson's Phony Business that hurt an engine at 320.63. And fourth place, Ian Eriker's Huntsman at 296.09. This class brought to you by Weimer Fuel Injection, in business since 1978. And they specialize in agricultural and industrial diesel fuel pumps and turbos. They have a wide inventory and exchange units, and they're able to modify standard pumps and turbos for your customized needs. Fans, we just saw the owner of the Terminator sled walking down the track there a while ago, and Darren just informed me there's 9 weights in the box of the sled, and it's in 4th gear. And that means the gearbox rolling that weight box forward. Watch how fast that weight box comes forward for this class. That'll get up to about 28 miles an hour. 9 weights in the box at 2,000 pounds apiece, of course, is 18,000, and about 38. So about a 56,000 pound sled behind this 10,000 pound tractor that's got 4,000 plus horsepower. This is a tough one and a good way to get it started. More agitation. Number 1 in points. Got the top points at the Grange Fair in Center Hall, Berkeley County Fair in Martinsburg. Finished 3rd at the Lebanon Fair and 2nd at the Glad Hill Pool. Had a win in Lebanon, a win in Berryville, Virginia. This tractor has been doing very well this year between Tara and her brother Davey driving. The Tara's in the seat tonight. This is girl power, fans. More agitation, a 7930 John Deere from Boonesboro, Maryland. Wow, look at the weight box slammed up against the stops. The wheels are off the ground on the sled, and they are bringing her to a stop. .293.53. That was some wild RPMs and a lot of heat. And brother and dad are checking things out. Sled set, and she's taking that. How about a nice hand for Tara Brittner, fans? The sled operator is going to let me know how fast the next one goes, but let's back up to the previous class with Jason McKenzie's Never Satisfied tractor, sporting the twin Hemis, and that new setup. He went 34.5 miles per hour down this track. That has to be quite the rush. So we'll let you know how fast the next tractor goes. I don't believe it'll be 34.5 miles per hour. Jason McKenzie had quite a run. But that weight box is definitely full of 2,000-pound weights for this class, and she's setting the mark at 293.53. Tom Ermson of Valencia, PA, is up next with his alcohol superstock power international called Eyesore 2. This guy's pretty famous in the pulling world of designing and building the transmission for competition truck and tractor pulling quite a few years ago. Earned some transmissions. Here comes Tom with the alcohol superstock power international called Eyesore 2. No smoke going to come out of this one, but a bunch of major RPMs. If you've ever wondered how they make an alcohol superstock tractor, they start with a diesel engine. They put a custom cylinder head on it, which will take twin spark plugs per cylinder, take the injection pump off, and install an electronic distributor. And of course, leave it up to American ingenuity and guys over the years and girls thinking, I can do this. And we call them superstock alcohol power. So it's going to burn methanol like a drag car. No black smoke, but you're going to hear probably 5,000 RPMs coming out of this former 6-cylinder diesel, which is now burning methanol. Well, how about a hand for him, folks? We need a tow tractor, something left go. $276.26. Oh, brother, there comes a shovel. Fans, would you give him a tough luck round of applause? He just broke a rod, and it's on the track. That one has a severe bellyache, and they're shoveling pieces. Oh my. There's a piston on the track. They're supposed to come out the top of the block when you remove the head. But when they come out through the oil pan, that's always bad, bad news. Up in smoke is Steve Beckley from Sharpsburg, Maryland. How about a nice hand for him, folks? That is a smaller turbo and a smaller engine that he competes in the mod turbo class, but they just got it back together, and he won last weekend, and he wanted to come down here tonight and get another hook on it. $264.99. Not bad at all for Up in Smoke. It's got a 540 motor and a 4.5-inch turbo, which both are quite a bit smaller than what the Pro Stocks are allowed in this class. So we're going to call him a limited Pro Stock here tonight, and he's doing very well with it. And one to go, and that'll be Davey Moore with one more deer. Our current leader's down there walking down the sideline, which is Tara Brittner, and her More Agitation tractor is the leader at 293.53. For this last event of the season, which is not far down the road from home. But here's Dino Davey Moore from Boonesboro, Maryland, and Moore Motorsports. His sister's our current leader with More Agitation, and this one's called One More Deer. So fans, Mom just informed me that if he beats his sister, they tie for points in the championship. And if she remains our leader, she's got him by a few points. So let's see what it's going to be of the Moore kids here tonight, whether it's brother or sister. Brother's going to finish up the class for us on this tough one called One More Deer. Listen to that thing snort. She's down there saying, don't go past 293. She just walked away from the tractor. So let's see if he listens or not. Here's the final one before the Christ sponsorship parade. One More Deer. Oh man, that one's got the death rattle too. How about a tough luck round of applause for Davy Moore? Hold the sled there, Kevin. Got to wait on the smoke to clear to get a distance. Fans, unfortunately, 3 out of 4 tractors in this class with some pretty major trouble. 203.21 feet for One More Deer, and that'll finish 4th. Tara Brittner will win with more agitation at 293.53, and 2nd will go to Tom Ermson's Eyesore 2 at 276.26. 3rd to Steve Beckley's Up in Smoke at 264.99, and 4th to Davy that just went 203.21. They finished in the order they came out 40 years ago. He bought this truck brand new on June 1st, 1985. And when the boys said they were coming, he said, I ought to run up there and pull my old truck. Look at this. 85 Kenworth W900 with a 400 cat. Exhibition only, but a great job. How about a nice hand for Tom Lutman of Lovettsville, Virginia? Hold the sled until he gets out of the way. Got that great big Aerodyne bunk. Would you believe there's 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a hot tub all in that sleeper? They're not very big, but they're in there. No, he bought that truck brand new. And the greatest thing is that he kept it. Ordered it with that special paint. That was his design on that paint scheme to mimic what was on a cab over that he had. But a W900 Kenworth, first year for square headlights, big old 400 cat motor. 224.55 for Tom Lutman, exhibition only, but he's having a great time with it. That truck still works every day, hauling grain and what have you. And Brian Smith is coming up with his Peterbilt. Now, you people have seen Brian Smith on this track before with his beautiful red and white Mack Superliner called Snowblind. Brian's from down in Odenton, Maryland. But this is his other toy with a big Caterpillar motor under the hood of this Peterbilt. And listen to this thing. Oh my goodness, talk about horsepower. Let's see how this Peterbilt runs. Brian Smith from Odenton, Maryland. Runs pretty good, doesn't it? How about a nice hand for him, fans? .33 feet for Brian's Peterbilt. 319.33. Would you kindly give him another round of applause? Today's his birthday. I was just informed of that. And he is setting the mark in the class. Thank you. I'm sure he appreciates that. And if you say, well, he didn't hear that, he will on video. These guys all go home and watch the videos, believe me. Albert Brown is up next with his superliner Mack called Back in Black. There's the superliner. RW. It's got a Mack R cab, and the W stood for Western version. They were manufactured from 1977 to 1993, and they're super collectible. And this was the first full year for the square headlights, 85. Same as that Kenworth that just went out of here. It's an 85, and it had square headlights on that W900. It's a good-looking, good-running Mack with a rare, hard to find now, 998 cubic inch V8 engine. Calls it Back in Black. He'll make a Mack fan out of you. Proudly made in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And the engine and transmission come out of Hagerstown, Maryland. Oh yeah, how about a nice hand for Albert Brown, fans? .315 and 11, a very nice pass for Back in Black. But the birthday boy is going to stay out front. The Peterbilt is 4.2 feet ahead of the Mack. So Brian remains our leader at 319 and 3, and Back in Black just went 315 and 11. Hey, you want to see something cool, fans? Get your iPhone out, put it on camera, and zoom in on that grill, and you'll see no radiator. You'll look right through the grill and see that big 6-cylinder Caterpillar engine sitting in there, and listen to it snort while he's backing in. This 1987 model Freightliner truck never had this kind of horsepower or engine under the hood. But it was built, probably 6-7 years ago now, and does very well. And Lyndon Weaver is the new owner and driver for it. And he hails out of Ephrata, Pennsylvania. And he's number 4 in current points and finished 2nd in Georgetown, Delaware. Inconvenience. Wow, how about a nice hand for him, fans? I see there is a little tiny radiator in behind the grill there, but it's not much. .314.67 won the last event, but that 314.67 puts him number 3 in this event with 2 to go. The Peterbilt will be up next, with Dave Greek doing the driving tonight. This is a father and 2 sons and mechanic team. Liable to see one of those 4 driving this Peterbilt that's on its way to the sled, but Dad is driving tonight, and he drove last Saturday night at the Buck and won. Last Saturday night's winner. And nothing like winning on the hometown track. The Buck is only a couple miles down the road from Susquehanna Truck Service and Garage, where this thing calls home. The Peterbilt has 4 first place finishes thus far this year and 2 seconds. And I hear that Cummins. So no electronic engine under the hood of the Peterbilt. This is an old school KTA 600 Cummins engine, sporting 1,150 cubic inches in a 6-cylinder. And the most important gauge on this truck is that chrome pipe sticking out the right side of the hood. He's going to have his eye on the end of that pipe. And when that coal black smoke starts coming out, he knows it's go time. Dave Greek of Willow Street with the Peterbilt called Pressure Time. Like I said, last Saturday night's winner. Number 3 in current points. But the accolades include, I believe, last year's points championship. This gentleman is the 17, 18, 21, and 24 points champion in this limited pro stock semi class. And he will make a Peterbilt fan out of you here shortly, and especially if you're old school Cummins. Here comes the KTA 600. Oh my, how about a nice hand for him? Dave Greek from Willow Street. He's our new leader at 330.75 feet. So fans, he just went out front by 11.4 feet. There he is. This is an International 9900 series that started life as a triaxle dump truck. And it rolled over, and Hank went out with his big wrecker and uprighted it and took it back to the yard and ended up buying it from the insurance company. Dropped the lift axle, got rid of the bed, shortened it up, and made a heck of a semi-puller out of it. 2003 model, I believe. Sports a C15 cat engine at 915 cubes. He's had 2 wins in 3 seconds this year. Salvage yard operator and heavy towing company, and a very tough competitor in this limited pro stock semi class. 5-time points champion and 2 championships with full pool productions. So this guy is used to being out front, and he's our current points leader. The International Sport and the A-Cert Cat engine called the Scrapper. This guy always makes the fans pay attention, folks. Watch this thing go. Peterbilt's out front at 330.7. We don't have a cone out there for him to kind of see where he'd like to be, but he's surely got his eye on that blue easy up tent on the left side, and that's where he's hoping to go. They're having a little difficulty with the chain. 2 chains go in these things. One's a safety chain, and of course a dog leash hooked to a cable that goes clear up through the truck to the turbocharger and the guillotine air shutoff. So I want to make sure everything's right there. But believe me, he's worth waiting on. This is Mr. Excitement. There are the chains tight. He just rolled forward, and we're going to get a green light on that sled, and the flagman will follow suit and watch this thing go. The Scrapper from Salisbury, Pennsylvania. Not Salisbury, Maryland. Salisbury, Pennsylvania, the bottom left corner of the state. Good hook. How about a nice hand for Hank Oster? $316.14 feet. finishing third, 316.14 for the scrapper. Congrats to Dave Greek, he's the winner 2 times in 3 days with the Peterbilt called Pressure Time, going 3:30.75. Second going to the birthday boy, Brian Smith, with his Peterbilt at 3:19.33. Third going to Hank Oster in the scrapper that just pulled 3:16.14. Fourth place going to Albert Brown with the Back in Black Mac at 3:15.11. Fifth place, Lyndon Weaver's Inconvenience Freightliner at 3:14.67. And Tom Lutman's Kenworth pulling exhibition at the beginning went 2:24.55. Looking for a good-looking 1066 from Hagerstown to get us started, and here he comes. Ben Flaherty Jr. with Smokin' Red. This is a super tough tractor that's set out most all season due to waiting on parts. But he came back in time to get some good hooks, and he's number 5 in current points on the interstate circuit. Started life with a 414 cubic inch engine. This class allows 480. So you can put a 466 in there, and you can also bore it out and get a few more cubes as you rebuild it. This is an original member of the light limited turbo class that started back about 20 years ago on the interstate circuit. It's called Smokin' Red. Well, it's running good, but I think he touched the line and he knew that, so he backed out of it. That would be a disqualification if he wasn't first, but guess what? He's first puller, so he'll come back at the end. He's stopping at 265.21, however, out of bounds. So let's hope all is A-OK and he can come back at the end and try that again. All right, dropping to last. Sled setting looks like it'll be okay, but he's dropping to last. And Mark Smith will be our next competitor on a Ford 9600 from Shippensburg, PA. Well, Ford fans, you're gonna like this 9600. Mark Smith of Shippensburg got this thing running like a scalded dog. His nephew Hunter has driven it quite a few times this season and won with it. Young man's only 14. He's got a couple wins with it, but the owner and builder's in the seat tonight. Don't give him a green flag yet. We've still got Dave Moore out here with chalk box fixing the left sideline. It's 50 years of Dave Moore being here at the Frederick Fair. All right, we are good to go now. This is a powerhouse of a tractor, folks, and it's going to set the mark for the remainder of the class because the first one's coming back. Good one. How about a nice hand for Marty? $313.99 feet for that sharp 9600. $313.99. Well, international fans, we have 2 1466s in a row coming at you. And this one from Lovettsville, Virginia is called Seein' Red. All right, Binder fans, how about a hand for Ryan Lutman? 291.38 feet for Seeing Red. 291.38. The homeboy up next, Bradley Wassler from Middletown, Maryland, driving the 1466 called Whistling Red. Here is a good-looking, good-running tractor. And it is number 3 in current points. All right, international fans. See if he can get out there to that 313 mark. Might go past it, you never know. Hometown track for this young man. Good hook. How about a nice hand for Bradley Wassler? 303.07 feet. Puts him in the number 2 spot. 303.07 is 10.9 feet behind the Ford. That's 3 down and 4 to go in this light limited turbo class. Rusty Tanner of Madison, Virginia, up next with his second chance John Deere. How about a nice hand for Rusty Tanner? 311.83 feet puts that one in the number 2 spot thus far. 311.83 puts him 2.1 feet behind our leader. There's the Case IH, called the Hokie Harvester. Number 6 in current points, Seeing Red with his brother Ryan was out here 10th in points. Seeing Red went 291.38, so we're going to let these brothers duke it out, and I'll let them know which one went farther and by how much. Not bad. How about a hand for Chris Lutman? I believe it went further than the brother, but we'll find out. $294.94 puts him 3.6 feet ahead of his brother Ryan, and the $294.94 will take over the number 4 spot from his brother Ryan. And 2 to go. Bradley Seal of Madison, Virginia up next. And there's Bradley Seal of Madison, Virginia on his newest toy. Let's see if the old Ford can keep up with the other old Ford at 313.99, and then we'll bring Smoking Red back to finish up the night. Very nice. And Bradley's standing down here below me. I said, who's driving? He said, Alex Miller. So we'll give him the credit for doing a good job. And it's 302.6 for the Ford. 302.6. And that puts Alex Miller in the number 4 spot. Well, fans, this is where a lot of announcers would try to get you to scream red or blue or green, but I like all colors. But we're going to see if the red one meets or beats where the blue one is, because the green is out for Smoking Red. nice, and he's way out there. How about a hand for Ben Flaherty Jr.? He is our winner at 3:17.44. He just went out front by 3.5 feet, 3:17.44. Congrats to Ben Flaherty Jr. Second place will go to Mark Smith at 3:13.99. Third place will go to Rusty Tanner on the Second Chance Deer at 3:11.83. Fourth, Bradley Wassler with Whistling Red at 3:03.07. Fifth place will go to Alex Miller driving the Ford 9600 for Bradley Seal and pulled 3:02.6. Sixth place, Chris Lutman's Hokie Harvester at 2:94.94. And seventh, Ryan Lutman on Seeing Red at 2:91.38.